Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're tackling a question that seems like it's on everyone's mind these days. What is Ethereum? We've got a whole stack of research in front of us. Stuff from Investopedia, Coinbase, and even some notes straight from the Ethereum Foundation.
Oh, wow.
So we're really going to try to go deep on this one today. It feels like everyone's trying to understand this whole Ethereum thing,
Right.
but you don't just want the basics right. You want to know why it matters, what you can actually do with it, and maybe even where it's all headed. So that's our mission today,
Yeah.
to get beyond just the buzzwords and really give you a solid grasp of what Ethereum really is. And trust me, there's some seriously cool stuff in here.
I bet.
Did you know that Bitcoin is often called digital gold?
Yeah, I've heard that.
But Ethereum is more like digital oil.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just about the cryptocurrency itself. It's about powering a whole new kind of internet. And we're going to unpack all of that. Plus, we'll touch on how Ethereum is empowering artists and gamers in ways you wouldn't believe.
Okay, I'm ready.
To help us navigate this fascinating world, we've got our expert here, ready to break it all down for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ethereum, it's so much more than just another cryptocurrency. It's this platform that's enabling a wave of innovation. It lets developers build these applications that really challenge how we think about everything from finance to art.
So both Coinbase and Investopedia start with the basics here. Ethereum is a decentralized platform that runs on something called blockchain technology. Now, for anyone who needs a refresher, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so imagine a digital record of transactions.
Yeah.
But it's not stored in one place. It's spread across a whole network of computers. That's blockchain in a nutshell. It's like having a shared history book that everyone can see and verify, which makes it incredibly secure and transparent, and no single entity controls it.
Okay, so Ethereum uses this blockchain concept,
Yeah.
but it takes things a step further, right?
Right.
It's not just about buying and selling Ether, which is Ethereum's cryptocurrency.
That's right. While you can definitely do that, Ethereum lets developers build what are called dApps, decentralized applications, and smart contracts. Think of it like building with digital Legos. The blockchain is the foundation, and developers are using these building blocks to create all sorts of incredible applications.
That's a great analogy. So instead of just holding a cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
you're interacting with a whole ecosystem of applications built on Ethereum.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing how this is way more than just digital money.
Exactly. Let's go back to that comparison with Bitcoin for a second.
Okay.
Investopedia and Coinbase both highlight this really key difference. Bitcoin is often seen as a store of value, like digital gold. But Ethereum, on the other hand, it's more like the fuel that powers the whole system.
So Bitcoin is like holding a valuable asset, and
Right.
Ethereum is what lets you actually do something with that value. It's the engine behind it all.
Exactly. And that's why Ethereum is generating so much excitement, because it opens up possibilities that Bitcoin simply can't.
This is fascinating. But I'm realizing there's a lot of tech behind the scenes here. Our sources mention blockchain and smart contracts a lot. Can you break those down for us in a way that even I can understand?
You're already familiar with blockchain as this distributed ledger, this unbreakable chain of digital records.
Right.
Now imagine a vending machine. You put in money, select your snack, and the machine automatically dispenses it.
Okay.
That's essentially what a smart contract does. It's a piece of code that automatically executes an agreement when certain conditions are met. No middleman needed.
So smart contracts streamline agreements, making them more secure and transparent. That sounds like it could have a huge impact on all kinds of transactions.
Absolutely. Let's say you want to buy a piece of digital art. A smart contract could ensure that the payment is only released to the artist once you receive the artwork, and vice versa. It cuts out the need for a third party and ensures a fair exchange.
So we've got this secure, transparent blockchain, and we've got these self-executing smart contracts built on top of it.
Yeah.
Where does Ethereum's own cryptocurrency, Ether, fit into all of this?
Ether is the fuel that powers the entire Ethereum ecosystem. It's used to pay for transaction fees, execute smart contracts, and incentivize participants to keep the network running smoothly. You can think of it as the energy that keeps the Ethereum machine humming.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got the technology, we've got the cryptocurrency. But I'm curious, what's the big picture here? How is Ethereum actually being used to change things in the real world?
Well, one area where we're seeing a real impact is in cross-border payments. Coinbase talks about how Ethereum, particularly through something called stablecoins, is making it easier and cheaper to send money across borders.
Stablecoins, are those like regular cryptocurrencies but less volatile?
Exactly. They're pegged to stable assets like the US dollar, so their value fluctuates less dramatically. This makes them ideal for sending money internationally, because you don't have to worry about those wild price swings.
That sounds like a game changer, especially for people who rely on sending money to family overseas. But are there other applications beyond just payments?
Definitely. Coinbase highlights how Ethereum is being used to provide financial services to people who lack access to traditional banking. Take Venezuela, for example, where the economy is struggling, or Afghanistan, where traditional banking is limited. Ethereum-based solutions can provide a lifeline, offering financial stability and independence in really challenging situations.
It's amazing how this technology can empower people on such a fundamental level, and we've only just scratched the surface of Ethereum's real-world impact.
It's true. Yeah, it really is remarkable how this technology can be used for good.
And beyond those examples,
Yeah.
Ethereum is also having a huge impact on the world of art and gaming
Hmm.
through something called NFTs,
NFTs.
or non-fungible tokens. They've gotten so much attention lately. They're digital tokens that represent ownership of unique assets.
Right.
So instead of just owning a copy of a digital image, you actually own the original.
Exactly. Each NFT is unique and verifiable because of the blockchain. This means that digital artists can sell their work in a way that just wasn't possible before. And collectors can be sure they're buying something authentic, one of a kind. It's like having a digital certificate of authenticity that's permanently attached to the artwork.
So NFTs are revolutionizing the art world. But they're not just for art, are they?
They're not.
Wikipedia and Coinbase both talk about how NFTs are being used for things like collectibles, music, even virtual real estate.
It's true, the possibilities are really endless. Imagine owning a piece of virtual land in a popular online game, or having this unique digital collectible that's provably yours. NFTs are changing how we think about ownership in the digital world.
It's mind-blowing to think about where this could all lead, but I have to admit one thing that still puzzles me a little bit is this whole concept of Ethereum as a platform for a decentralized future.
Okay,
What does that actually look like in practice?
that's a great question. You see, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Ethereum is a key building block for something called Web3. Yeah, you can think of Web3 as the next evolution of the internet.
Okay, so Web 1 was the early internet, mostly static pages.
Right.
Web 2 is what we have now, social media and all that, which is dominated by big companies. What makes Web 3 so different?
Well, Web3 aims to create a more decentralized internet, where users have more control over their data and their online experiences. So instead of relying on these big tech companies to control everything, Web3 uses blockchain technology to distribute power and ownership.
So in a Web 3 world,
Mm-hmm.
it's less about Facebook and Google calling the shots,
Yeah.
and more about individuals having ownership and agency online.
Exactly. And Ethereum, with its ability to create decentralized applications and facilitate these peer-to-peer interactions, is a key enabler of this vision.
That's fascinating. So what are some concrete examples of how Ethereum is being used to build this decentralized future, besides what we've already talked about?
Well, let's look at the gaming world for a second.
Okay.
Coinbase talks about these play-to-earn games, where players can actually earn cryptocurrency rewards for their time and skill.
Hold on. So instead of just spending money on in-game items, players can actually earn cryptocurrency that has real-world value.
That's right.
That completely changes the game.
It does. It's a radical shift. Coinbase mentions Axie Infinity as a prime example. It's a game where players collect and battle these digital creatures called Axies, which are actually NFTs. So players own these unique digital assets and can potentially trade them or sell them.
So you're not just playing for fun anymore. You're building this collection of valuable assets that you control. That's amazing.
It is, and it's not just about the money either. Blockchain gaming can foster new forms of community and collaboration. Players can team up, trade assets, and participate in a more decentralized and engaging gaming experience.
I can see why gamers are so excited about this. It's like a whole new frontier.
Mhm.
But what about applications beyond gaming? Where else is this decentralized future taking shape?
Well, think about how we manage organizations today. Usually there's a lot of hierarchy and bureaucracy involved. Now imagine an organization that operates in a more decentralized and democratic way. It uses smart contracts to automate decision-making and ensure fairness. That's the idea behind decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs.
DAOs, so instead of having a CEO or a board of directors making all the decisions, a DAO allows members to have a say in how things are run.
Precisely. Members can vote on proposals, allocate resources, and collectively govern the organization. This can be applied to all sorts of things, from managing investment funds to running community projects.
It's like taking the power of collective action and giving it a turbo boost with blockchain technology.
It really is.
But how do you even join a DAO? Is it like signing up for a membership?
Joining a DAO often involves acquiring the DAO's native tokens, which represent ownership and voting rights within the organization. You can think of it like buying shares in a traditional company, but in a more decentralized and accessible way.
So there's no complicated application process or board approval. You just acquire the tokens and you're in.
Often that's the case, yeah. Though the specifics can vary depending on the DAO, but the underlying principle is to make participation open and accessible to anyone who aligns with the DAO's mission and values.
I love that idea. Empowering individuals to participate in organizations that reflect their interests and beliefs. It's like taking democracy to the next level.
It is a very powerful concept. And DAOs are just one example of how Ethereum is being used to build a more decentralized and equitable future. We're seeing innovation in areas like supply chain management, identity verification, even voting systems.
It sounds like Ethereum is touching almost every aspect of our digital lives.
It really is. It's about reimagining how we interact with each other and with the digital world. And what's so exciting is that we're still in the early stages. There's so much more to come.
This is all incredible. But I have to be honest, sometimes the technical details can still feel a bit overwhelming. Do you have any advice for someone who's new to all this, but wants to learn more about Ethereum and its potential?
I think the best advice is just to start exploring. There are so many resources available online, websites, articles, videos. Don't be afraid to dive in and start learning.
I have to say, even with all the technical stuff, this deep dive into Ethereum has been truly eye-opening. It's amazing to see how this technology is being used to create so much positive change.
It really is inspiring. And what's even more exciting is that we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with Ethereum. It's a constantly evolving ecosystem with new innovations and applications emerging all the time.
Speaking of evolution, our sources, particularly Coinbase and Investopedia, they mention a major shift that Ethereum underwent recently, the transition from proof of work to proof of stake.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big deal, right?
Absolutely huge. So initially, Ethereum, like Bitcoin, used a system called proof of work to secure its network and verify transactions. This involved miners competing to solve these complex mathematical problems, which required a lot of energy.
So that's why people were talking about Ethereum being an energy hog.
Exactly. But the transition to proof of stake, known as the merge, changed all of that. Instead of miners using massive amounts of energy, proof of stake relies on validators who stake their ether as collateral to participate in securing the network.
So instead of mining for ether, you're essentially earning rewards for holding and staking your ether.
That's a simplified way to put it, yeah. But essentially, yes, it's a much more energy-efficient system. And it paves the way for greater scalability and faster transaction speeds.
So it's a win-win for both the environment and the efficiency of the network.
Precisely. And Investopedia highlights that this transition also has implications for transaction fees, known as gas in the Ethereum world. With a more efficient system, the cost of using the network could potentially decrease, making it even more accessible.
Okay, so the merge was a major milestone for Ethereum.
It was.
But what's next? What does the future hold for this technology?
Well, Investopedia hints at something called dank sharding, which aims to significantly improve Ethereum's scalability by splitting the blockchain into smaller, more manageable pieces called shards. This would allow the network to process more transactions simultaneously, leading to even faster speeds and lower costs.
So dank sharding is like adding more lanes to a highway to handle increased traffic.
That's a good way to think about it.
That sounds like it could be crucial for Ethereum's continued growth.
It really could be. And that's not all. Ethereum's roadmap also includes plans for enhancing security, making the network even more user-friendly, and future-proofing it against potential challenges.
It's incredible to see how much thought and effort is going into Ethereum's development. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about building this sustainable and inclusive ecosystem for the future.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about creating a platform that empowers individuals, fosters innovation, and unlocks possibilities that we can only begin to imagine.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the basics of blockchain technology to the potential of a decentralized future powered by Ethereum. I feel like I have a much better understanding of what this technology is all about, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. And I encourage everyone listening to keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with this incredible technology.
That's a great message to end on. Remember, this is just the beginning of the Ethereum story. Who knows what amazing applications and innovations will emerge in the years to come. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Ethereum. Until next time, stay curious.